1954, we had operational gravity control so that we were building our own UFOs. And I always tell people, if you see something you call a UFO or a UAP, you have to ask yourself, it could be one of three things. It could be an extraterrestrial vehicle or NHI craft, it's the pop culture now. It can be a man-made one coming out of one of these big aerospace companies because they've been zipping around since the late 50s.
Right.
Or it could be neither of them, and it could be some extra-dimensional entity, something from another dimension that's not extraterrestrial.
So my way
this is where it gets confusing for people, and it's deliberately been commingled. In other words, disinformation specialists from the CIA and other places, like Lou Elizondo,
he called you a terrorist.
Yeah, I know. It's very funny. I'm a terrorist for speaking the truth. Well, that's, yeah, I mean, as opposed to people who are actually trying to create Armageddon, which would be his crowd.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if you don't have enough of the information, and this information's been in a blackout for 70 years, if you're David Fravor flying an F-18 chasing one of these things, and you're not read in, you're a jet pilot. You're not read into what's coming out of the underground facilities at Skunk Works out there in the desert.
Yeah.
So you're going to immediately think, oh, shit, I just saw an alien craft. No, you saw something that was made at the Skunk Works. I mean, I've done briefings for the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, three-star general, and he didn't know anything that was going on with this, even though he made inquiries. He was blown off. So everyone thinks that there's sort of this, you're the president or you're a 3 or 4-star general and you have an all-access pass. You do not. He and Clinton and some other people, Webster Hubbell at Justice, were trying to find out about UFOs, and they were being gaslit and lied to or deceived, and they knew it. I mean, Clinton was smart enough to know he was being zoomed. And so they reached out to me to come up and provide the information I had. I mean, the director of CIA and the president had been completely denied access, threatened, and told nothing. And that's when I realized that the organization that's running these covert programs is unconstitutional, criminal, and has been since the late 1950s, since Eisenhower kind of lost control of them. He was betrayed. So there has been no proper legal constitutional oversight of any of these operations, and this is dangerous, since at least 1956-7, somewhere in that period.
Yeah.
He came out with what he had done, but he was secondhand. He had not been operational.
Right.
I'm talking about the first-hand operational people. And what's interesting, if you look at the House Oversight Committee hearings, it's all been all these secondhand people. And I told Congressman Burchett and Luna, why don't you subpoena the people that we have? Here's a list of the top 25.
Right.
And these are people, like I just described, who are operational at the Skunk Works. Interestingly, they never call those people to a hearing.
You don't have to be an expert to find and gain access to this. You don't even have to type anything in to see every single person, vehicle, and activity that took place in these locations in the last 31 days. Whether you wanted to watch this footage live in real time or look at footage from a month ago, you could just point and click your way to it like you were watching Netflix. With help, that number quickly grew to nearly 70. None of the data or video footage was encrypted. There was no username or password required. These were all completely public-facing for the world to see, and some of them still are.
Over here, they zipped out of nowhere and immediately got behind me with the lights flashing.
Oh, we got you last week.
Yeah.
For the warrant.
Oh. I was driving through here yesterday, and I got pulled over again. It was actually by the same officer.
You need my license?
No.
Okay.
I remember you, man.
Okay.
So,
Everywhere in the state, every time I pass a camera, they get alerts in their car that I'm in the area.
The flock cameras did alert to his license plate being associated to a warrant.
All I know is I'm in this system now, and there's really no easy way to get out of the system once you're in it. I know what this guy did to get a warrant, so I don't really know what the police response is going to be.
The battle over controversial flock cameras in Troy is heating up.
Yeah, the city council has filed a lawsuit to overturn the Troy mayor's emergency declaration to pay Flock and keep the cameras in use.
Council sues to block their use throughout the city, while law enforcement touts the technology's ability to catch criminals.
No, I don't have a warrant.
Who cut down 3 flock camera poles recently. Now, those cameras located near 42nd and Jasper were damaged and left on the ground. Eugene police say they also experienced vandalism to at least 6 of their flock cameras that had to be replaced. No arrests have been made in either jurisdiction, but this is considered criminal mischief.
This is what one man can do to the ULEZ in less than half a day.
They're a secret army of masked vigilantes, waging a war on the streets of the capital against Sadiq Khan's controversial ULEZ expansion. Terrorising TfL by tearing down, vandalising and even stealing cameras using any means necessary. The so-called Blade Runners claim they're responsible for disabling and destroying hundreds of the new number plate recognition devices installed across London that make sure motorists abide by the new rules. Ben, seen here, is one of them. A father of 3 in his 40s, he goes out in the dead of night several days a week, flouting the law to carry out what he calls unpaid voluntary work.
There's one on top of the traffic light over there. That bracket is now gone.
Speaking exclusively to Talk TV, Ben, which isn't his real name, claims he's behind a near total blackout of enforcement cameras in the Bromley area, one of the Greater London boroughs where the scheme's been extended to.
There were 3 cameras situated here.
Right.
Okay, none of them are now working.
None.
So first of all, we have a traffic light that was taken out at waist height, so that the camera that was on there is now gone. There was a camera that was situated on a bracket on this traffic light.
So you can see that the bracket is cut.
And the camera taken away.
So it climbed up there and sliced that up.
That's right, that's right.
And there you go.
See, get them down, done them.
People are going to find out it's in it and everything, and it's in everyone, and there's nothing to clean it up, and there's nothing to save you from it.
Toxic PFAS, also known as forever chemicals.
PFAS are in so many consumer products. Non-stick pans,
dental floss, computer chips,
shampoos, and conditioners.
Whether it's gone down the river and contaminated fresh drinking water for people, or if it's on farmland and you're eating it, it's out there.
We have a mass poisoning of our population.
Forever chemicals are linked to a number of serious health issues.
How can a company knowingly have contaminated the groundwater?
Not the only one that took biosolids. The EPA said it's clean. State of Michigan said it was clean. And I'm on a small scale. Some of these farms are creating tens of thousands of gallons of milk a day. How many homeowners is that hitting?
Something wrong with this cow. And they keep trying to tell me there's nothing wrong with these things. I can call the West Virginia State Veterinarian, Doc Thomas, and the only thing he asked me is, do you have a good attorney?
We thought, this is going to be a fairly straightforward, quick, easy case. We had no idea that we would be dealing with PFAS or any of these completely unregulated man-made chemicals.
And this is what they expect a man's cows to drink on his own property.
Wilbur's cows had been acting deranged and dying off at an alarming rate.
There was a serious problem occurring on that property. There was something coming out of this landfill next to his property.
We sat here and ate beef 3, 4, 5 days a week for, as far as I'm concerned, over a decade of contaminated beef. How much is in my system? How much is in my kids' system? Is it going to kill them before they get a life? It's hard to say.
There's something poisoning America's farms. A chemical that was built in a lab decades ago by companies who knew in private that it was highly toxic. Now that chemical is showing up almost everywhere. And why has it taken so long for the government to take action?
They knew about the problem for decades.
And now they've got a chemical that can't be destroyed, it can't be cleaned up. If we don't get some real response real soon, we're all going to be in a real hell of a shit show mess.
This topic is one of the most highly classified, dangerous topics to broach. Other people think that the reason why this is such a touchy subject and apparently very highly classified, the existence of giants, both in an ancient context and in a contemporary context. He told us the story that has since become known as the Kandahar Giant. So he was as I said, he was a C-130 pilot, and he would fly missions into Bagram Airfield in Afghanistan. He realized that the tarp wasn't covering the whole thing, that parts of this thing were hanging out, and it was apparent that it was a really, really big dude, in his words. But it was not a normal person because it was in the fetal position, and it was hanging off the pallet in the fetal position, 9-foot-long pallet hanging off the pallet. The hair of this being was red. The skin was pale, white. He said it had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. And the feet were wrapped in a very primitive canvas-type wrapping. And he said he and the guys that were standing around the body were actually taking their boots and putting it up to the foot. And he said it was, twice as big as 3 times bigger than everybody's boot. I mean, the feet were enormous. They're all putting their feet up to the foot. I know that the final weight was 1,100 pounds. The final weight was 11. And then he told me for sure. He said that the weight was, this thing weighed 1,100 pounds. And so you can imagine, let's say it was 12 feet tall, 1,100 pounds. A group of guys got lost somewhere out in Afghanistan. That this group was out there. These military guys were out there doing something, recon or something like that, and they weren't reporting back in. So they sent out another group to look for them. Another team went out to look for that first team. And when that second team found them, they found them either at the mouth of a cave or in a cave. I can't remember where, but it was in the vicinity of a cave. And they were all dead. And this gigantic humanoid was eating on one of them. And they were able to kill it. They were able to take it down. So it killed the whole first team. That's what he heard. Now, again, that's what those guys had heard. So maybe that was just a rumor. But either way, the giant was airlifted from the Kandahar region and deposited at Bagram to be picked up by the pilot.